In this lesson, we're going to look at some of the alcohol bitters. There's a long tradition of using alcohol to make bitter drinks, or to use bitters to make alcohol drinks, or combining both into a medicinal drink. And Guinness is one of those. It's mildly bitter. It's not a great example of a bitter, but we can add some of our tincture to make it that little bit more. Let's give it a go. There we have our regular Guinness. Now let's add some gentian, just to make it that little bit more bitter. Now I know if you don't drink alcohol, this may not be of interest, but there are many non-alcoholic beers that you can add bitters to. In fact, in the UK, beer or lager is sometimes known as bitter. Give us a pint of bitter. So let's taste this Guinness. This could be the first Guinness with gentian. That is slightly more bitter, so I think that is a new cocktail. Tell me if someone hasn't done that before. That looks like a first to me. A Guinness bitter, a Guinness with gentian. And there's many other herbs you could add to it. Let's look at a few more alcohol bitters. So let's look at a number of other traditional drinks that are associated with bitters. This is just to give you the context before we get into the herbal bitters and start making our own formulas out of bitters, that there's a tradition here. Cointreau is probably not known strongly as a bitter, but it's a nice spicy drink, so it has spices in it. But very mildly bitter as well, and again it can be spiced up with more bitters. Jägermeister is a traditional German drink. Actually, it's quite popular all around the world. There are fans of Jägermeister, and they love to drink this. It's made up with about 50 to 60 different herbal botanicals, made in Germany, as I said, has a nice mild bitter taste, but again in that tradition of bitter drinks. Here we have Vermont. Vermont is also known for its bitter quality. Mildly bitter and used in cocktails. Amaro is an Italian. This is really nice. This is, in terms of bitterness goes, you're moving into the more traditional bitter flavors associated with an alcohol drink. An aperitivo, which is taken after a meal, particularly in Italy and the Mediterranean countries. So this is why bitters in alcohol have been popular, obviously for cocktails, but also as an aperitivo, which has helped us to improve our digestion and speed up digestion after a meal. And of course then we have Campari, which is a really nice bitter, again probably on the stronger side of bitters, popular in cocktails, but also nice to get that bitter flavor, bitter taste into your palate and activate the secretion of bile. Of course, the long tradition with bitters is Angostura bitters, which are from Venezuela. Angostura is the town in which this formula of bitters was named after by Johann Siegent, a doctor who was trying to work with the Venezuelan army to improve their digestion and deal with malaria. So bitters has a long tradition in plant medicine, as we know, going back to Greek times, and these formulas have been carried down through generations and formulated eventually in these kind of drinks. These are two nice little Irish bitters, aromatic hedgerow and orange, kind of marmalade citrus. So we'll get into making our own formulas later in the course, but I just wanted to introduce you to this range of alcohol bitters because if you do take alcohol, it's an easy place to begin taking a Campari, using it as from a medicinal point of view. As I said, a Guinness earlier, adding additional bitter herbs like gentian and wormwood to it to increase your bitter take. So that's just an introduction to some of the alcohol bitters. Next, we're going to look at Swedish bitters.